Jinger Duggar, the sixth child of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar, has long been a figure of fascination for fans of the reality TV show * 19 Kids and Counting *. Known for her warm personality, thoughtful demeanor, and unique perspective on life within the highly conservative Duggar family, Jinger has consistently captured attention. However, in recent months, she made headlines again, but this time not because of something wholesome or predictable. Instead, Jinger left her followers confused and even divided with what many are calling a risky move. Her actions have sparked debates about authenticity, personal growth, and the expectations placed on public figures who transition from rigid upbringings into more independent lives. For years, Jinger was perceived as one of the quieter members of the Duggar clan, often overshadowed by her older siblings like Jessa and Jill. Yet, over time, she began carving out her own identity. She married Jeremy Voulo, a former professional soccer player turned pastor, in 2016, and together they started a family. While still maintaining ties to her parents' values, Jinger seemed to be exploring new facets of herself, which became evident through subtle changes in her lifestyle and public persona. The risky move that baffled her followers came when Jinger posted content online that strayed significantly from the traditional image associated with the Duggar name. Specifically, she shared photos and videos showcasing aspects of her daily life that felt uncharacteristic for someone raised under such strict rules. From fashion choices to candid conversations about faith and parenting, Jinger appeared to embrace a level of openness rarely seen among members of her family. Her Instagram feed, once filled with modest dresses and Bible verses, now features images of her wearing trendy outfits, experimenting with makeup looks, and engaging in discussions about mental health and self-care. These posts were met with mixed reactions. Some praised her for stepping outside her comfort zone and being relatable, while others accused her of abandoning her roots and losing touch with the values she grew up with. As expected, Jinger's shift prompted a wave of backlash from critics who viewed her behavior as hypocritical. Many followers expressed disappointment, accusing her of trying too hard to fit into mainstream culture at the expense of her upbringing. Comments like, "This isn't the Jinger we know," and "Why is she changing so much?" flooded her social media pages. For some, these changes represented a betrayal of sorts, a departure from the principles that initially drew people to the Duggar family. On the flip side, there were plenty of supporters cheering Jinger on. They applauded her willingness to explore different sides of herself and encouraged her to live authentically. One fan commented, "It's refreshing to see someone grow and evolve without fear of judgment." Another wrote, "She's allowed to change and discover who she is beyond what others expect." This dichotomy highlights a broader issue. How do individuals balance staying true to their heritage while navigating personal growth? For Jinger, whose entire childhood revolved around adhering to specific religious doctrines and societal norms, the challenge of redefining herself must feel monumental. To understand why Jinger chose to take this bold step, it's important to consider her journey thus far. Growing up as part of a large, ultra-conservative family meant living under intense scrutiny, not just from her immediate circle, but also from millions of viewers tuning in to watch * 19 Kids and Counting *. Every decision, outfit, and interaction was scrutinized, leaving little room for individuality. After marrying Jeremy, Jinger embarked on a path that allowed her greater freedom to express herself. Unlike her parents, Jeremy comes from a slightly less restrictive background, blending elements of evangelical Christianity with modern sensibilities. This dynamic likely played a role in encouraging Jinger to question certain beliefs and practices ingrained in her since birth. Additionally, motherhood may have influenced her evolving outlook. Raising two daughters, Felicity and Evangeline, has undoubtedly shaped how Jinger views the world and her place in it. In interviews, she has spoken candidly about wanting to instill confidence and independence in her children, qualities that might require breaking away from some of the limitations imposed during her own upbringing. By sharing snippets of her transformation on social media, Jinger appears to be reclaiming agency over her narrative, rather than letting outsiders dictate how she should act or present herself. She is embracing vulnerability and inviting her audience along for the ride. Despite her intentions, Jinger's efforts haven't gone without misunderstanding. Critics argue that her updated aesthetic and messaging contradict the teachings she once espoused. For instance, posting pictures in form-fitting clothing or discussing topics like body positivity strikes some as inconsistent with her past advocacy for modesty and purity culture. In response, Jinger has occasionally addressed these concerns head-on. Through heartfelt captions and Q&A sessions, she emphasizes that her faith remains central to her life. She explains that her evolution doesn't equate to rejection of her beliefs, but rather an expansion of them. By incorporating contemporary ideas into her worldview, she hopes to inspire others to find harmony between tradition and progress. One particularly poignant post read, "Change can be scary, especially when you've always done things a certain way. But I believe God calls us to keep learning and growing. My heart hasn't changed. I still want to honor Him in everything I do. I'm just doing it differently now." While this explanation resonates with some, it leaves others unconvinced. The debate underscores the difficulty of reconciling old identities with new aspirations, especially when those transitions occur in the public eye. Regardless of where one stands on Jinger's transformation, her story serves as a reminder of the complexities involved in personal reinvention. Navigating life after a sheltered upbringing requires courage and resilience, traits Jinger continues to demonstrate despite the criticism. Her situation also sheds light on the pressures faced by influencers and celebrities who strive to maintain authenticity amidst shifting priorities. As audiences grow accustomed to seeing familiar faces in particular roles, any deviation risks alienating loyal fans. At the same time, staying stagnant can lead to stagnation personally, making it crucial for individuals like Jinger to weigh both internal fulfillment and external perception. Looking ahead, it will be interesting to see how Jinger balances these competing demands. Will she continue pushing boundaries, further solidifying her status as a trailblazer within her community, or will she scale back, opting for a middle ground that appeases both camps? Whatever path she chooses, her journey offers valuable insights into the universal struggle of finding oneself amid conflicting influences. Jinger Duggar's risky move has undeniably stirred controversy, but it has also opened doors to meaningful conversations about identity, faith, and the courage required to forge one's own path. Whether you agree with her decisions or not, her willingness to confront discomfort and embrace change deserves recognition. After all, true growth often involves taking leaps of faith, even if those leaps confuse or unsettle those watching from the sidelines. Jinger Duggar, a member of the well-known Duggar family from TLC's Asterisk 19 Kids and Counting Asterisk, has recently found herself at the center of controversy due to her newfound hobby. As one of the most recognizable figures in reality television, Jinger's life choices have always been scrutinized by fans and critics alike. However, this latest development seems to have struck a particular nerve with both supporters and detractors, sparking heated discussions across social media platforms. For years, Jinger Duggar has lived much of her life under the public eye, thanks to the popularity of her family's show. Known for their conservative Christian values and large family dynamic, the Duggars gained fame not only for their unique lifestyle, but also for their strict adherence to traditional beliefs regarding parenting, faith, and modesty. While some viewers admired the family's commitment to their principles, others criticized what they perceived as outdated or overly restrictive practices. Jinger, who married Austin Forsyth in 2017, has since stepped into the spotlight as an independent figure, navigating marriage, motherhood, and personal interests while maintaining ties to her upbringing. The recent uproar began when Joy-Anna shared details about her new hobby on social media, inadvertently opening the floodgates to widespread criticism. What started as a seemingly innocent update quickly spiraled into a debate that touched on everything from cultural expectations to individual freedom. Critics were quick to voice their disapproval, accusing Joy-Anna of straying too far from the ideals she was raised with, while defenders argued that everyone deserves the space to explore their passions without judgment. The backlash highlights the ongoing tension between tradition and modernity, a theme that has long surrounded the Duggar family, and raises questions about how society views women who step outside prescribed roles. As the story continues to unfold, it becomes clear that this incident is more than just a fleeting moment of tabloid drama. It reflects broader societal conversations about identity, autonomy, and the pressures faced by those in the public eye. Whether viewed as a betrayal of her roots or a bold step toward self-expression, Joy-Anna's choice underscores the complexities of living authentically in a world where every move is analyzed and debated. Joy-Anna Duggar's controversial hobby centers around her newfound passion for interior design and home renovation projects. This interest emerged publicly when she began sharing detailed posts on Instagram, showcasing her efforts to revamp various spaces within her home. Her posts included before and after photos of rooms she had redesigned, tips on sustainable decorating, and insights into her creative process. While these activities might seem innocuous to many, they triggered a wave of backlash among certain segments of her audience. Critics argue that Joy-Anna's focus on home renovation contradicts the traditional values instilled by her upbringing. Some followers expressed disappointment, claiming that such endeavors distract from her role as a devoted wife and mother, roles traditionally emphasized within the Duggar household. Others took issue with the perceived materialism inherent in elaborate home makeovers, suggesting that such pursuits conflict with the family's professed emphasis on simplicity and humility. Social media comments ranged from mild disapproval to outright condemnation, with phrases like "priorities matter" and "this isn't what we expected from you" appearing frequently. A recurring critique framed her hobby as frivolous or self-indulgent, implying that women in her position ought to channel their energy into domestic duties rather than creative ventures. These reactions highlight entrenched societal biases about gender roles, where women are often judged harshly for pursuing interests beyond caregiving or homemaking. Perhaps most striking, however, is the generational divide evident in the backlash. Older fans appeared particularly vocal in their criticism, lamenting what they saw as a departure from the family's roots. Younger audiences, on the other hand, seemed more supportive, praising Joy-Anna for embracing her individuality and exploring new skills. This split underscores shifting attitudes toward tradition versus personal growth, illustrating how different generations interpret the balance between staying true to one's heritage and forging an independent path. The backlash against Joy-Anna Duggar's hobby reveals deep-seated tensions surrounding cultural expectations and personal autonomy, particularly for women raised in highly conservative environments. At its core, the criticism stems from the perception that Joy-Anna's actions diverge from the rigid framework of behavior and priorities traditionally upheld by the Duggar family. For decades, the Duggars have been emblematic of a lifestyle defined by strict adherence to religious principles, including an emphasis on modesty, familial duty, and gender-specific roles. By engaging in home renovation, an activity often associated with creativity and self-expression, Joy-Anna appears to challenge these ingrained norms, prompting discomfort among those who view her deviation as a betrayal of her upbringing. Cultural expectations play a significant role in shaping this reaction. In communities that prioritize collective conformity over individuality, any deviation can be interpreted as a rejection of shared values. Joy Anna's decision to pursue a hobby centered on aesthetic innovation clashes with the utilitarian ethos commonly promoted within conservative circles, where practicality often takes precedence over artistic exploration. Her focus on transforming her living space into something visually appealing may strike some as indulgent or unnecessary, reinforcing stereotypes about vanity and materialism. Furthermore, the act of documenting her progress on social media amplifies scrutiny, as it places her choices under a microscope, inviting comparisons to the lives of other women in similar circumstances. However, this backlash also underscores the persistent struggle for personal freedom in the face of societal constraints. Women like Joy Anna often navigate a delicate balancing act between honoring their heritage and asserting their independence. Her pursuit of interior design represents more than just a casual interest. It symbolizes a desire to carve out a distinct identity outside the confines of predetermined roles. By engaging in a hobby that allows her to exercise creativity and control over her environment, Joy Anna asserts agency over her life in ways that defy traditional limitations placed on women within her community. This assertion of autonomy inevitably invites pushback, as it disrupts the status quo and challenges deeply held assumptions about what constitutes appropriate behavior for someone of her background. The intersection of cultural expectations and personal freedom further complicates matters. On one hand, critics argue that Joy Anna's actions reflect a broader trend of younger generations rejecting inherited values in favor of modern ideals. They see her embrace of home renovation as evidence of a shift away from communal priorities toward individual fulfillment. On the other hand, supporters contend that personal growth does not necessitate abandoning one's roots entirely. Instead, they frame her hobby as an evolution rather than a repudiation, emphasizing the importance of allowing individuals to adapt and expand upon their upbringing without fear of judgment. Ultimately, the controversy surrounding Joy Anna's hobby highlights the ongoing tension between tradition and progress. It forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about how much latitude individuals, especially women, should be afforded in defining their own paths, even when those paths diverge from established norms. While some may view her choices through a lens of betrayal, others recognize them as a testament to the universal human drive for self-discovery and reinvention. In this context, the backlash serves as both a reflection of societal anxieties and a call to reevaluate the boundaries we impose on personal expression. The controversy surrounding Joy Anna Duggar's hobby illuminates broader societal issues regarding gender roles, autonomy, and the intense public scrutiny faced by individuals in high-profile positions. At its heart, the backlash exposes the enduring double standards applied to women, particularly those who step outside prescribed roles. Historically, women in conservative settings have been expected to conform to narrow definitions of success, often centered around domesticity and subservience. Joy Anna's pursuit of interior design challenges these archaic notions, highlighting how women are frequently penalized for prioritizing self-expression or professional aspirations over traditional obligations. The criticism directed at her underscores a pervasive cultural bias. Women are still judged more harshly than men for deviating from societal expectations, even when their actions are benign or empowering. This incident also sheds light on the broader implications of autonomy for women in patriarchal structures. For Joy Anna, whose life has been shaped by the rigid rules of her upbringing, embracing a hobby represents not just a personal choice, but a symbolic act of reclaiming agency. Yet, her experience demonstrates how difficult it remains for women to assert independence without facing backlash. The scrutiny she endures reflects a larger pattern where women's decisions, whether related to career, appearance, or leisure, are policed and dissected, often reducing their identities to binary categories of compliance or rebellion. In this way, Joy Anna's story serves as a microcosm of the systemic barriers women encounter when striving for self-determination. Moreover, the role of public scrutiny exacerbates these challenges, especially for those in the public eye. Social media amplifies both support and criticism, creating an environment where every action is magnified and subjected to interpretation. For figures like Joy-Anna, who grew up under the watchful gaze of reality TV cameras, the pressure to maintain a carefully curated image can be suffocating. The backlash she faces illustrates how public figures, particularly women, are held to impossibly high standards, forced to navigate a minefield of conflicting opinions while attempting to live authentically. This phenomenon extends beyond individual cases, reflecting a culture that struggles to reconcile evolving notions of gender equality with deeply ingrained traditions. In essence, Joy-Anna's experience encapsulates the ongoing fight for gender equity and personal freedom. It underscores the need for greater societal acceptance of diverse paths to fulfillment, free from the constraints of outdated gender roles. By examining her story through this lens, we gain insight into the systemic inequities that persist and the resilience required to challenge them. As Joy-Anna Duggar navigates the fallout from her controversial hobby, the broader implications of her experience extend far beyond her personal life. Her journey serves as a poignant reminder of the delicate balance between honoring one's roots and embracing individuality, a negotiation that resonates deeply with many who find themselves caught between tradition and modernity. The backlash she has faced underscores the societal pressure to conform to inherited expectations, yet it also highlights the growing recognition of the importance of personal growth and self-expression. For Joy-Anna, this moment may ultimately prove transformative, offering an opportunity to redefine her identity on her own terms while remaining connected to the values that have shaped her. Looking ahead, Joy-Anna's future likely hinges on her ability to reconcile these competing forces. Her continued exploration of interior design and other creative pursuits could pave the way for a more nuanced public narrative, one that celebrates her multifaceted identity rather than reducing her to a single dimension. If she chooses to leverage her platform to advocate for women's autonomy and self-discovery, she has the potential to inspire others facing similar struggles. By openly discussing the challenges of balancing tradition with personal aspirations, she can foster meaningful conversations about the evolving role of women in conservative communities and beyond. At the same time, Joy-Anna must grapple with the realities of living in the public eye. The scrutiny she faces is unlikely to diminish, but she can mitigate its impact by cultivating resilience and focusing on her core values. Surrounding herself with supportive voices, both within her family and among her broader network, will be crucial as she charts her path forward. Ultimately, her story is a testament to the power of authenticity and the courage required to forge one's own way, even in the face of adversity. Whether viewed as a cautionary tale or a beacon of hope, Joy-Anna's experience invites us all to reflect on the importance of embracing change while staying true to oneself. The Duggar family, known for their strict Christian values and large brood of 19 children, rose to fame through their TLC reality show 19 Kids and Counting. The series offered viewers an intimate look into the lives of Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar as they navigated parenting, faith, and daily life with their sprawling household. While much of the show focused on wholesome activities like gardening, homeschooling, and family traditions, some moments have resurfaced over time that raise eyebrows due to their unusual or controversial nature. One such moment is a clip where Jim Bob and Michelle Duggar are seen teaching their daughter Jessa how to kiss, a scene that has sparked significant debate in recent years. In the episode featuring this now infamous moment, Jessa Duggar, then unmarried, was preparing for her upcoming courtship and eventual marriage to Ben Seawald. As part of what appeared to be premarital advice, Jim Bob and Michelle decided to provide guidance on physical intimacy within marriage. What unfolded was a candid but unsettling conversation about kissing, complete with demonstrations from the parents themselves. Jim Bob began by explaining the importance of maintaining modesty and purity before marriage, emphasizing that romantic gestures should only occur after vows had been exchanged. He then transitioned into discussing the mechanics of kissing, suggesting it was important to do it right. At this point, Michelle joined him, and together they demonstrated proper technique, leaning in slowly, tilting their heads slightly, and placing gentle pressure on each other's lips. They encouraged Jessa to practice these steps so she could feel confident when the time came. While the intention behind the lesson might have stemmed from parental concern and cultural norms surrounding courtship, many viewers found the execution deeply uncomfortable. Critics argued that the act of parents physically demonstrating something as personal as kissing crossed boundaries, especially given the familial dynamic at play. Others pointed out the inherent awkwardness of adult children being coached in such detail about intimate acts by their own parents. To fully understand why this moment occurred, one must consider the broader context of the Duggars' beliefs and lifestyle. Raised in a devoutly Christian household, the Duggar children were taught to adhere strictly to principles of abstinence until marriage, modest dress codes, and gender-specific roles. These teachings extended beyond mere guidelines. They formed the foundation of the family's identity and public image. For instance, the concept of courtship, rather than dating, was central to their approach to relationships. Courtship involved deliberate steps toward marriage under parental supervision, ensuring both parties remained spiritually aligned throughout the process. Within this framework, discussions about physical intimacy were often framed as educational and necessary preparation for married life. In the case of Jessa's kissing lesson, critics suggested that while the Duggars may have believed they were equipping their daughter with practical knowledge, the method they chose undermined any potential benefit by creating discomfort instead. Moreover, the emphasis on parental oversight during courtship raises questions about autonomy and individual agency. By actively participating in lessons about romantic behavior, the Duggars reinforced a dynamic wherein young adults relied heavily on parental approval even in matters traditionally considered private. This level of involvement contrasts sharply with more mainstream approaches to relationship education, which typically prioritize independence and self-discovery. When the clip resurfaced online, reactions ranged from bemusement to outright criticism. Social media platforms lit up with commentary dissecting every aspect of the exchange, from its technical delivery to its underlying implications. Some supporters defended the Duggars, arguing that their intentions were pure and reflective of their commitment to guiding their children responsibly. Others dismissed detractors as overly judgmental, claiming outsiders failed to grasp the nuances of the family's religious convictions. However, the majority opinion leaned toward disapproval. Many expressed concern over the psychological impact such a lesson might have on Jessa, questioning whether it fostered feelings of embarrassment or inadequacy. Psychologists weighed in, noting that adolescents and young adults often struggle with forming their own identities separate from their families. Parental interference in areas like romantic expression can complicate this developmental stage, potentially leading to confusion or resentment down the line. Critics also highlighted the double standard inherent in the scenario. While male members of the family received similar guidance regarding future spousal interactions, female members bore the brunt of scrutiny related to modesty and propriety. This disparity underscored broader societal issues surrounding gender expectations and reinforced stereotypes about women needing constant supervision to avoid moral missteps. Beyond the specific incident itself, the controversy surrounding the kissing lesson speaks to larger debates about religion, privacy, and the role of parents in shaping their children's romantic lives. Reality television shows like Asterisk 19 Kids and Counting Asterisk offer audiences a voyeuristic glimpse into otherwise private worlds, amplifying both admiration and criticism. When viewed through this lens, the Duggars' actions become not just a reflection of their personal choices, but also a microcosm of broader cultural tensions. For example, the resurgence of interest in conservative Christian practices has reignited discussions about how far parental authority should extend. Should parents dictate every aspect of their child's romantic journey, or is there value in allowing individuals to navigate these experiences independently? Additionally, the blending of entertainment and real-life ethics complicates matters further. Audiences tune in expecting authenticity, yet the presence of cameras inevitably alters behavior, sometimes resulting in situations that seem staged or exaggerated for dramatic effect. Ultimately, the backlash against the kissing lesson serves as a reminder of the complexities involved in balancing tradition with modern sensibilities. Families like the Duggars operate within distinct cultural frameworks that shape their decisions, yet those same frameworks can clash with evolving societal norms. Navigating this tension requires careful consideration of whose voices matter most: the parents, the children, or the wider community observing from afar. As conversations around consent, autonomy, and healthy relationships continue to gain prominence, incidents like the one involving Jinger Duggar will likely remain focal points for advocacy and critique. Such programs empower young people to make informed decisions without feeling beholden to rigid external expectations. At the same time, respecting diverse belief systems remains crucial. Not everyone subscribes to liberal ideologies surrounding love and marriage, nor should they be forced to abandon deeply held convictions. Instead, fostering mutual understanding and empathy allows for productive exchanges across ideological divides. In conclusion, the resurfaced clip of Jinger and Michelle Duggar teaching Jinger how to kiss encapsulates many of the challenges faced by families navigating traditional values in a rapidly changing world. Whether viewed as well-meaning guidance gone awry or a disturbing breach of boundaries, the moment invites reflection on the delicate balance between protection and intrusion, faith and freedom, and ultimately, love and control.